walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time. It has refinements, technological advances, and a more sophisticated approach to the destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the super-states that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
Hey soldiers, you know what one of the dumbest things in America is? Actually paying for your own indoctrination. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's take colleges and universities as an example. People go out and they pay big money to pay the tuition to get into a college or university. In some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars, all right? Yet, these universities do not concentrate on making sure you're employable. But what they've been doing more and more of is making sure that you're indoctrinated with the woke mind virus, right? Now, I want you to understand that academia, corporate America, the government, and non-governmental organizations are all pushing this, okay? They're all pushing to control your mind and have you believe things like, well, if you're white, you're the devil incarnate, okay? Evil is in your DNA. And if you're black, you can do no wrong, okay? And everything that you might do that may have been construed as wrong, don't worry about it. Because if anybody calls you out on it, we're going to call them racist. And we're going to point out to them that it is possible that your great-great-great-grandfather may have been a slave. And that's why you are excused doing the things that you do. Now, if you want to get a feel for how much of a religion this is becoming, I want you to take a look. We aired this video, this clip on another video, but I want you to take a look at it again. And I want you to pay close attention to the one lady. There's the VP of HR for Target. She's talking. But there's a woman to her, what would that be? Her right. Okay, there's a woman to her right. It'll be your left. You'll see her on the bottom. There are two people on the bottom. That woman is shaking. I almost thought she was going to get up and scream hallelujah. Okay. These ladies are enraptured by what the VP of HR is saying. And I've seen, okay, I've been in corporate America. I've seen sycophants before. This is beyond that. This is religious fervor that we're seeing. Okay. So take a look.
It is important for us to also acknowledge that not everyone is going to believe or be bought into our strategies and our priorities on this topic. They just aren't. And so when we talk about leader accountability and the importance of representation and these strategies and these goals being integrated into someone's responsibility, like just to be really pragmatic and practical, then it becomes, okay, you don't we may not be able to change your mind shift on appreciating why this is important, but you do understand that as a part of your job responsibilities, you will lead inclusively, you will have representation on your team, you will be responsible for these behaviors, values, and expectations. And it also, quite frankly, puts a light on the folks that don't believe in this, but emphasizes that you still have to do it to do this job, to be a part of this company. And eventually, you'll see a change in their mindset, or they may leave. And, that's a part of this process too. This isn't for everyone. But what has to be for everyone is accountability, and accountability comes with transparency. It's really important.
Did you see that? All right. So I bet you can't get any of them, especially that one woman. Okay. You can't get her. If you go in and try to get her excited about actually boosting Target's bottom line and making sales, okay, you're not going to get the VP of HR to speak as passionately about that. And you're not going to be able to get that one woman to appear as excited about it, okay, and filled with the Holy Ghost about it as she was with this nebulous set of benchmarks, this flat out admission that they're going to try to control your mind. And if you don't believe as they do, then you can just take yourself somewhere and get another job, okay? And don't think that they mean that passively. This diversity, equity, and inclusion thing is going to be a metric on performance evaluations, okay? So what it's going to do is, let's say this, okay? Because everybody always compares it. Oh, well, the white man might not get a job, okay? Who do you think could get this job? If you're in Target and you're a hiring manager for a department, and you need to meet this benchmark, and a straight black man comes in, and he has on a wedding ring, he has 2.5 children, a dog, okay, even got the station wagon, okay, and he comes in, and he's interviewing for the job. But the next person is a transgendered white male who has half the experience. Now, you heard that VP of HR, okay? This is going to be something that you're evaluated on. Who do you think's getting that job? All right? Is it going to be, all other things? Let's just make all other things equal, okay? Who do you think's getting the job? All right? All right, so that's what we're creating. By the way, the tuition over at the Boston College is $62,000. So you're gonna, I'm saying you, but someone who may want to attend that school is going to pay $62,000 for the privilege of being either told that they're inferior, okay, if you're a person of color, you're gonna be told that you're inferior and the white man's holding you down, okay? Or you're going to be told that you're evil and you are holding people down, okay? So that's what's going to be pumped into the heads of these students. And like the article says here, they're a actually Boston College said that. You're a captive audience, okay? You got to do what we say if you want to graduate. Students will now have to choose among such choices as linguistic justice, who cares? Domestic labor and the commodification of care. Asians are people of color, exploring the controversy and identity politics, deconstructing narratives, stories of race and racism in American cultural memory, and writing environmental justice. Okay. Now, suppose I'm in Boston College, I'm taking an engineering course because I want to get out and be an electrical engineer, and I want to work for let's say Northrop Grumman and build machines that destroy people of color all over the world in the name of democracy, of course. What the hell does this have to do? What does any of that have to do with the core competencies you need to be an engineer? Not a damn thing. Okay, it's just straight up indoctrination. Gwen Cordanawi, the writing program's associate director, said that the problem in the past was that students had a choice, and some did not want to be forced into writing for social justice issues. She said that was a problem, that the kids had a choice, that the college students had a choice. Okay, imagine that. They're paying $62,000, and she's pissed off that they actually had a choice of what they wanted to write. So much for college being an environment where you can have a free exchange of ideas. That doesn't exist anymore. Okay, and you need to think seriously about that if you're about to go to college or if you're about to send a young person to college. You better be very careful about where you send them because they might come home unrecognizable. All right. Back then, Gwen Cordanawi says instructors in classes could be avoided. Now they have solved the problem by removing all choice. She heralded the hiring of non-white faculty to teach the social justice courses, using the first year requirement to, quote, reach every student at BU. With that, she explained, quote, we have a captive audience. We never worry about enrollment, unquote. Y'all, this stuff is getting out of hand, okay? Wow. If I had to do it all over again, would I go to college? I don't know. Not with all this going on. And if I did, oh my God. Okay. Imagine being subjected to this kind of indoctrination day in, day out. When college, it's not about intellectual enlightenment. Let's not tell that lie. Let's just be honest and say that college is a ticket to economic viability. Okay. A higher wage throughout your lifetime. Okay. That's what it's about. It's about money. Okay. Can you imagine the doctors, the lawyers that are going to eventually come out of these systems? This country will be unrecognizable in 15 years. Trust me on that. Writing program director Sarah Hardy said that the, quote, cluster hiring, unquote, of minority faculty and the mandatory course requirements are meant to finally end the, quote, predominance of white faculty in academia, unquote, by limiting the choices of the students. If you're not scratching Boston University off of your list, because I cannot imagine any, and I've got some folks here among the soldiers of finance who are of a liberal bent, and that's fine. You know, we welcome everybody, but even those individuals who I've had conversations with over the comments, if I know them like I think I do, I don't think they'd be too keen on this. Okay, because college students usually are the type of people that don't like to be forced to do anything. Okay, they are exploring things and they're, you know, figuring out the world, and they're rejecting a lot of the norms. All right, questioning why these norms exist. So will that happen here? Or is it that by the time they get to this point, they've been so thoroughly indoctrinated through grade school that, you know, they're just ripe for the picking? All right. The BU announcement includes a statement from instructor Swati Rani that she will be teaching students to apply the, quote, language around anti-racism, unquote, and emphasize that, quote, all of my students are required to develop a voice of advocacy in their final papers and projects that are directly connected to their intersectional lives at BU. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Okay. I'd like to ask her, how am I going to make money with this? Can you explain that to me? How does this improve my prospects for economic viability post-academia? There's every reason to celebrate classes that add different perspectives and subjects to the curriculum. It is the mandatory element that is troubling if students will be required to write in favor of approved social justice causes. Again, you guys want a social justice paper, but what you don't want is any paper to the contrary of how you think. You don't want a free exchange of ideas. You just want confirmation that your, constant hammering in these ideals has been effective. That's what you want. What happens to students in this captive audience who do not support justice causes? There are subjects that touch on deep religious, social, and political values in our society. So let's say, where do you draw the line? Let's say, abortion comes up. Let's say homosexuality, transgenderism, LGBTQ plus issues come up. And you have you presumably have a diverse group of religious adherents in any given college setting. And let's say you're dealing with a person of the Islamic faith, okay? And they write contrary to those life choices. What do you do? Do you give them an F? Do you excoriate them? Because now you're dealing, it's okay to excoriate Christians. That's A-okay. And that's our fault as Christians, because we don't act like the Muslims and say, hey, look, you're not going to denigrate my religion. You're not going to do that, okay? So it's Christianity's fault that this goes on. But what are you going to do? Are you going to excoriate those that feel differently for any reason? Just, their life view. They don't even have to be a religious adherent for their life view to be one of opposition to certain current socially accepted practices, all right? So again, guys, look, I don't see the $62,000 to go to this school, okay? And that tuition is per year, all right? So at the end of the day, you're in, let's see, you're in almost 400 grand, all right? If you do it the way that, you're in, you're in deep, okay? So why would you, you're in almost 300 grand. Why would you spend that kind of money and then have this kind of thing pushed on you, okay? You could go invest that money and build a business, all right, and not need college, kind of like Steve Jobs did. He didn't really need college. Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, didn't need it, okay, to become wildly successful. If you're going to make a scientific discovery or to be an attorney or to be a doctor, okay, fine, I get it, right? Or if you need that certification to be an electrical engineer, so that you can go out and work for a particular field, okay, I get it. But beyond that, if you're just trying to be economically successful, second guess this stuff, man, because it's not helping you make a dime. Now, what I want you to do is, again, we're seeing this cultural rot, okay, take hold throughout systems in our society. Why is this happening? Well, follow the money. There's someone making money off of this, big money. Watch this documentary we did. We talk about it. And they're actually using your money to push these agendas and help them make more money, okay? Watch that. And guys, I'll talk to you soon.